name, isn't it? Can you guys say it with me? Ananias. Well, we're going to read about Ananias. But before we start, when I have people into my home, I like for them to feel comfortable and get to know each other a little bit. So what I would like you to do, I know you guys do this in school, I want you to think about something that is really easy for you to do, okay? So I was telling the little kids that came before, I like to make jewelry, and so that was really easy for me to do. I also love to read, that's easy for me to do. But I want to know what's easy for you guys to do. So I want you to just take a few minutes and turn and talk to your friend and just talk about something that's really easy for you to do.
Hello, friends.
What's easy for you guys to do?
It's hard. I talk a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of easy to do that.
And I love painting. That's very easy.
I think it's easy to ride my bike. I like coming up here and riding my bike. Y'all ride bikes?
I do that all day, every day.
Oh, well, guys.
Oh, it's easy for me to
Listen, all right, eyes up here. Guys, I heard some really cool things. I heard about riding bikes. I heard somebody over here say that painting was easy for them. But I wonder if painting's easy for everybody. I can tell you that I am not a good painter. I even have a hard time drawing. So I still draw stick figures. And so I have a hard time painting. I like making jewelry, but I have a hard time painting. So now I want you to think, I heard about some things that were easy to do. Would you like to share something that's easy for you to do?
Play soccer.
Soccer, okay. Are you very good at making goals? Like kicking the goals? That's awesome. All right.
But most of the time I paint because other people have the ball. And it's on the other side of the field because we're usually going against 5th graders.
Oh, well then that's a little difficult, isn't it, sometimes when you're playing older kids. All right, well that's great. Thank you for bringing that up, because now I want you just to talk very briefly about something that is difficult for you to do, because we're going to talk about Ananias and he's going to find something that's really difficult to do. So talk with your friends for just about 20 seconds and tell them something that's difficult for you to do.
Start to sleep.
Oh, to get to sleep at night? It's hard to go to sleep at night? Hey, you know what? Kind of. I have that problem too sometimes. What did you say, Sarah?
Basically,
I don't want to sleep on this bed.
Okay.
Oh, so that's easy for you. What's hard for you, Sarah? Do you find anything that's a little difficult?
Making necklaces.
Making necklaces?
It's hard.
Okay.
Drawing it hard.
All right. Okay, guys. All right, let's go ahead and share. If anybody would like to share out something that's difficult. All right, Lexi. Lexi has something to share out. What's difficult for you to do, Lexi?
Fall asleep and climb a tree.
Oh, I heard 2 people say fall asleep. Molly said it's difficult for her to fall asleep, and so did Lexi, and climb a tree. Well, you know what? And Sarah, did you think of something? What's hard for you?
Do things without getting hurt.
To do what?
Do things without getting hurt.
Oh, are you a little clumsy? Uh-oh. No?
Same.
Yes, a little bit?
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge? All right. Well, you know what? As I was listening to you guys, I heard that all of us, even Miss Kim has difficult things that I have to do. Did you know that before I came here this morning, I was a little nervous about telling the Bible story in front of big kids. I'm used to working with little kids, like 4-year-olds. So I was a little intimidated about coming and telling a story to you guys, to the big kids. But you know what I did? This is our Bible. This is our point for today. So when I hold this up, I want you to help me read it. I'll read it to you first, and it says, Jesus' power helps us do hard things. And your job to do is to say, trust Jesus. So when we're going to talk about this through. So when I hold this up, I'm going to say we can all say it together. Can you say it with me? Jesus' power helps us do hard things. So what do we need to do? Trust Jesus. And so that's what I had to do this morning. I had to trust Jesus, and so I said a little prayer. Well, we're going to read a little Bible story today. I have 2 Bibles. Who has a Bible? Who has a Bible at home?
I
Guys,
have like
everybody?
I have mine and a
Yes, if you can have a Bible on your phone. I have one on my phone, and I have these Bibles. Well, I'm glad to see all those hands go up. And if you don't have a Bible and you'd like one, you just let us know, okay? All right, this is a children's Bible and a big kid's Bible too. It kind of tells the story in a little bit simpler terms. So I want you guys, I'm going to actually read the story to you from this children's Bible. It's not very long. And before we get into the other story. And so this is what happened. I'm reading from the book of Acts. And it says, "Now there was a believer in Damascus," and that's where we are today. We're pretending we're in the city of Damascus. "There was a believer," that means a Christian, he believed in Jesus, "in Damascus named Ananias. And God spoke to him in a vision." A vision is kind of like a dream. "And he called and he said, 'Ananias.'" Could you imagine having a dream where God spoke to you? Well, God can give you dreams. And Ananias, he was like, "Yes, Lord." I'm sure he was really scared at first. And God said, "Ananias, I have a mission for you. I want you," and he didn't ask him. He gave him a command. He said, "Ananias, go over to a place called Straight Street, to the house of Judas. And when you get there, ask for a man from Tarsus named Saul. He is praying to me right now. I have shown Saul in a vision of a man named you, Ananias, coming in and laying hands on him so he can see again." But Lord," claimed Ananias, "I've heard many people talk about the terrible things that this man Saul has done to Christians in Jerusalem. And he's authorized by the leading priest to arrest everyone who calls upon your name and who calls upon Jesus' name." But the Lord said, "Ananias, go, for Saul is my chosen instrument to take my message of Jesus to the Gentiles and to the kings as well as to the people of Israel. And I will show him how much he must suffer for my name's sake." Now, I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to tell you the ending of it. We're going to find that out later. So, as you can see, Ananias was a friend of mine, and I'm going to tell you what happened. So Ananias had this vision, and God told him to go see Saul. Do you guys know anything about Saul? Do you remember? What do you remember about Saul?
He murdered Christians.
He did. He was a murderer. He murdered Christians. He tortured Christians. And what do you know about Saul?
Saul was on a trip to Damascus, and he saw a light, which blinded him.
He did. There was a bright, blinding light, and what did it do to him?
It blinded him.
It blinded him.
And it was Jesus, and he told him to go to Straight Street.
To Straight Street. Good listening. Yes, that's right. And who was he supposed to go and see at Straight Street? He was supposed to go to Judas's house. And who was staying in Judas's house? Saul. So do you think that Ananias was scared to go?
Yes.
He did not know yet that Saul had seen the light and had talked to Jesus, that Jesus had talked to him. He didn't know this. So if you were Ananias and God told you to do this, how would you feel? You think that and he's a murderer of Christians and a torturer of Christians, and he arrests them and puts them in jail. So how would you feel? Would you be ready to go on that mission, or would you be kind of scared? How would you feel, Molly?
I'll be kind of scared, because what if he gets his vision back and says, "Nah, I don't want to do God," and he kills him?
Molly, well, let me tell you, that is exactly what happened. So I'm going to just tell you a little story. This is what happened when Ananias came to my house. I was making this little necklace, and I was just busy putting my little necklace together, having a great day. It was calm and quiet, when all of a sudden, someone burst through my door. And I dropped all my beads. My beads went everywhere on the floor, and I looked, and was my friend Ananias. And do you know what he did? He hid behind my chair. And I was like, Ananias, what are you doing? And he said, I'm hiding. And I said, Ananias, who are you hiding from? And he whispered, and he said, from everyone. And I said, Ananias, now come on. You can't do, this is not gonna work. I said, come over here and calm down and talk to me. I could tell he was so scared. And Ananias is just a little dramatic. He's a little bit on the drama side. So he acts a little crazy sometimes. So I was like, come on, Ananias. So he came and sat by me. And I said, so exactly why are you hiding, Ananias? And he told me, he said, it's Saul. He's here in Damascus. And he's going to arrest all of the believers that love Jesus. And he said, I love Jesus. And I said, oh, Ananias, I guess you haven't heard. He didn't let me finish. He just kept talking over me. And he said, I told you he's a little dramatic. And he said, I know, he's thrown lots of Jesus's friends into jail. And I said, hold on, Ananias, just calm down. I guess you haven't heard. But he interrupted me again. And he said, oh, I've heard all about Jesus, all about Saul, how Jesus appeared to Saul and how a bright light shone all around Saul, and Saul heard Jesus' voice and he fell to the ground, and then how he lost his sight and he became blind, and how his buddies led him here to Damascus. Oh yeah, I heard all about that. I said, so Ananias, then why are you hiding? And you know what else he did? I told you he's a little dramatic. He had this silly mustache on, just like that. Now, what would you think if you saw Ananias come in with this mustache on?
I think he's a weirdo.
I told you he's dramatic. And so I was like, Ananias, what in the world? Why are you wearing that silly mustache? And he said, it's a disguise. And so I ripped it off and he goes, ouch! He said, thanks now, Kimberly, you've blown my cover. I said, really, Ananias? Do you really think that mustache is going to hide the real identity? Trust me, it was not working. Well, he said, God came to me in a vision last night. And he told me that I should go to Straight Street, and when I get there, I need to ask for the man from Tarsus named Saul. I said, wow, God talked to you? I said, that's pretty awesome. He goes, and then he told me that I should place my hands on Saul and pray for him so that he would be able to see again. And I said, Ananias, if God told you to do that, then why are you here instead of in Damascus doing what God told you to do? He said, when God tells you to do something, you should do what?
Yeah.
You should do it. But then again, I could understand. Sometimes things are hard to do, right? We talked a little bit about that. If I was Ananias, I might be a little scared too, especially if I didn't know that Saul if I didn't trust Jesus. And so he said, well, I'm here because when Saul is able to see, guess who he's going to see? He's going to see me. And do you know, when Saul sees me, Saul arrests people. So he's going to, hey look, and he even brought props. He brought a rock. And he said, do you see this rock? Saul throws these at Christians. Ooh, that's pretty scary, isn't it? That's a big rock. It's heavy. Could you imagine having this thrown at you? No. And then he held up this chain and he said, and he chains Christians. And he arrests them and puts them in chains. Heavier chains than this. And then he held up this. And I said, Ananias, what is he going to do with a rolling pin? I said, is he going to roll him to death? He goes, I don't know what he's going to do with the rolling pin, but he still has it. I said, just calm down, Ananias, just calm down. And I said, so we had a little talk, Ananias and I. And I said, you know what, Ananias? And you guys are going to help me with this. What, if you were there with me, what would you tell Ananias? What could we tell him? Can you read? Well, he's scared, and we talked about that. Sometimes there's hard things to do. Even when God tells us to do something, sometimes it's a little bit scary. And so, can you read it with me? What's our point for the day? Jesus' power helps us do hard things. And when that happens, what do? Trust Jesus. And so that's what I told Ananias. And he said, okay, but I'm still scared. And this is a really hard thing for me to do. He said, have you ever had something, Kimberly, that you thought was hard that you didn't want to do? And I said, you know what, Ananias? I have. God's asked me to do some hard things, and when I've prayed, and I had to make some hard decisions. But you know what I had to do? I had to trust Jesus. And sometimes that process was a little long. I had to pray with Jesus and pray to God a lot. But finally, we worked it out. And so earlier, you guys talked about some things that you find hard to do, kind of like Ananias. I know it was different, but I want you to talk to your friends just really briefly and to your crew leaders about something that's happening in your life right now that maybe is really difficult for you to do. Maybe you're scared. We're going back to school soon. And so some of you may be a little hesitant about starting a new school year. Maybe you're going to a higher grade. Maybe you're going to a different school. Maybe you've even had an argument with someone, like a family member or a friend. And you're kind of worried that maybe you guys won't be friends again. So I want you to talk just for a few minutes, just for about a minute, about something that you're going through with your crew leader, okay? That's hard for you. You got the food? Okay.
I bet it's going to school again because it's like a prison now, and we have to wear masks, and we can't even play ever.
Well,
It's not ever going to be a prison,
No.
baby. That's a place that you're always going to be safe at.
absolutely.
And all your teachers, administration, all of them are going to do the best they can to keep you safe.
No,
Always.
it's like a prison.
No,
we're-
never like that.
No, we're promised. We're gonna.
Everything they're doing is to keep y'all safe.
Yes, and you're gonna have recess. They're not gonna make you sit in your desk all day.
No, they
So
don't.
I promise we're gonna take really good care of you guys.
You are moving to a new school.
Sarah, you scared to move to a new school?
No, I've had cousins, family members, all go to the same school.
Are y'all still going to be
I
in
know
the same
everything
school?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I bet we're gonna do this. We're gonna go one day there when school starts again. And if we like it, we will go there more. But if we don't like it, we can get homeschooled.
Ours is like, well, some of us will go Monday, Tuesday, and then like we're not gonna do Wednesday in 1 week, and then like we're gonna do Thursday, Friday.
All right, well, guys, let's see. I heard some really great conversations. I did hear that some of you are, a little hesitant about starting a new school year. And yes, I just want to reassure you, and Miss Tanya did a great job with that, that you're going to be taken very well. We're going to take very good care of you. I'm a teacher. Miss Tanya is a teacher. And we know that when you come back, I want to assure you that
Anybody?
About Jesus.
About Jesus? What about his power?
Nobody knows how.
Nobody knows his power. Do you have to trust in Jesus' power? Does he give you the power to do the stuff you need to do? Yes, he does. Pray and have faith, right? Oh. Okay, so today, while you're eating your snack, I'm going to tell you, Jesus' power helps us do hard things, right? Have you learned your Bible verse yet? You want to say it with me? All right, I'm going to say it one time and then you can say it with me, okay? You ready? For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. Philippians 4:13. Ready? Say it with me. For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. Philippians 4:13. Have y'all heard the story about Noah? So, do you think it was hard for Noah to trust God's power, Jesus' power, whenever he had to build the ark? Do you think it was hard for him, or do you think it was easy breezy?
The Bible activity didn't say about Noah's Ark, but I thought it was gonna be Noah's Ark. I didn't know.
But have you heard the story of Noah's Ark?
I have.
Where he had to trust Jesus and build this big old ark the size of a football field?
And we saw the whales.
Yes. So what story did you learn about over there at Bible Times? Saul. Oh. Where Aeneas, am I saying his name right? Aeneas had the terrifying job of reaching out to Saul. Was that the story? Oh. So, Aeneas' job is important to realize how much Saul hated the early church. That's kind of sad that Saul hated church, huh? Y'all like church? I like church.
I love it. I don't like the part when you have to sit down. That's kind of a little boring. But I like
You like Sunday school? Well, when you grow up, you'll like the part where you sit down and listen to the preacher, because you know that's a part of church. They're doing that what y'all already did, okay? So, Aeneas' name means protected by the Lord. It's likely that his parents didn't know the importance of such protection during this important time. Okay, hand in here, baby. I thought they already opened your stuff. So here you go. Come here. Come see. Morgan, sit down in your spot. Here you go. Here you go. What you need? It's okay. Go sit down with it. Okay, go sit down with it, baby. Go sit down. Go sit down with it. We'll do it in just a second. Just set it in front of you. Okay? So, I'm going to ask you a question, okay? And whenever I ask you a question, I'm going to give you two options for an answer. And you're going to raise your hand, okay? You ready? Everybody ready? All right. Where did my question go? Did you bring your imagination today? Yes? No? Maybe so?
I don't know.
All right. So today's little friend is who? Ramsey. He's a big old ramming horn, huh? He's got horns, don't he? Okay, sit down, Samuel. All right, sit right here. Sit right here. Okay? So, the mountains are so beautiful, living in the Rocky Mountains. The mountains are so beautiful and the scenery is so spectacular. But Ramsey said that sometimes it is kind of hard to live in the mountains, especially in the winter, one second, when it snows. Okay, that's when Ramsey's sure-footed feet come in handy. Ramsey's feet help him to do hard things like walk on slippery, snowy mountains. Let's see what it's like for Ramsey in the snow. Okay? What do y'all think it's like for Ramsey in the snow?
It's cold.
Cold?
Cold and winter.
So he
It's
has
not
to trust.
cold at all.
So he has to trust Jesus to help him walk through it, don't you think?
It's not cold at all for me. Okay. Good.
Well, he can't walk on his horns.
Yeah. How is he gonna
He would be kind of a trickster, huh?
Yeah, how is he gonna
Ah.
He gotta be
So,
close.
all right. every day I'm going to ask you a question, a fun starter question, and you're going to vote. What did I say how you're going to vote? Raise your hand. All right, so finish it up. Are you ready for your question? How long does it take a baby bighorn, which is one of these, sheep, to be able to walk and climb as well as its mother? Okay? If you think 6 weeks, raise your hand. If you think 1 day, raise your hand.
1 day. But it's just like regular goats they have at
Okay, so let me take a count again. All right, 6 weeks, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on, y'all. I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So 1 day is the rest of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and Beckett says all of them. So, guess what the answer is? The winner is 1 day.
Yep. Because it's just like regular goats they keep at barn. Right when they're newborn, they start to walk.
After a few seconds,
Few hours from the
No. A baby bighorn can walk and climb
yeah.
as well as its mother within just 1 day.
Yeah. Just
That's kind of cool, huh?
Just like regular barn goats, they right when they're newborn, they kind of walk just like baby bighorns. Just like baby bighorns. When they are newborn, they start to walk.
Yep. So all week long, I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to guess the answer, okay? I'm going to give you the answer. It's just a little fun imagination thing. So, but do you know how steam engines get their steam?
I put in fire inside of
They put, okay, have a seat. Have a seat. Steam trains get their power from either wood or coal.
They get it from wood.
The wood or coal is tossed into the train's firebox. Then the water in the boiler gets hot to produce steam, which causes the piston to move, which makes the wheels move. Okay? Isn't that neat? So as soon as you finish your snack, Miss Bailey, you might want to pause. And it has this little thing in there. I want you to take that out of your bag.
See,
If you need
it
help,
has a ram on it.
This little ball thing?
that's not it. This one, right here. It looks just like this. It has all of this in it. Look at yours.
Hers is
Long
different.
bag. Missing.
Here you go. All right, go sit down with that. Here, set this in front of you. Come see. Come here. Come here.
Where's your bag? It has Sammy on it, so this should be
Here
it.
you go. All right, here. More this. Right here. Nope. The yellow. Bring it here, Brimley. All right, set this down. Hold on, Kale. Hold your bag. Just this one. All right, once you have that, close your bag. Zip your bags back. Zip your bags back up. Hey, you guys. I already did it. I already did y'all. She might accidentally grab the wheel.
This looks like you reeled some line up on this thing. Put
All right,
on
look.
fishing rod.
I'm going to give you, look at this. You see this right here in my hand?
Yeah.
What is this? It's a paper clip. This is going to help you to do the hard little task that we're going to do, okay? So I want you to hold this paper clip. Do not stick this paper clip in your mouth, your nose, or your nose, or anywhere. Understand? You just hold it in your hand.
It's a good thing to pick out the boogers.
No.
No, it ain't.
That's nice.
Do damage in your nose.
Alright.
You might scratch it. So I'm gonna come around and hand it to you. I've already wiped this with a
Why
Clorox
would you
wipe.
say that? Because I think my nose gets some boogers.
Do I need to give you a Clorox
I
wipe?
hope you don't need them because that has virus on it.
No.
This is your Bible story, buddy. He gives you your PowerPoint for today. Jesus is
I
PowerPoint.
can make these.
Just hold it.
See?
Hold this.
It was Ramsey.
Whoa, they're not
Yes, Ramsey gave him.
I just want it. I don't feel allowed. Look at this.
He's a bighorn ram.
That was how we practiced my running. I knew that the
I'm just handing these
something
out.
was running in it.
Okay.
Stop! They blow the whistle without. That's for them, not us. What? How do they not even? They're literally like older and they do not know to stop whenever they blow the whistle.
All right.
They're
So,
older than us.
All right, y'all listen. She's going to tell you what to do next.
In your little bag, I might have to turn the fan the other way so it doesn't blow this stuff. In your little bag, you should have a rubber band. Yeah, that's perfect. A big yellow stick.
Take those out.
Take it out. A little yellow stick.
A little one.
And one of these. Okay?
Like I got all of it.
Yes.
And we got right there. What about this little paper car?
You just leave that in there, Miss Misty. You are going to make a little off-road railroad thing.
Not having their
Leave that in there, Brimley.
this car.
Yeah, just leave that in there. All right, so
Rubber band. I only have one.
you're only supposed to have one. This one accidentally had two. I don't need two. All right, so you're going to take this apart, the black thing. Set your rubber band down in front of you. All right, now you're going to want to grab the piece that has this raised end. Because see, one's flat and one's raised. All right,
What's
now
the rain?
this part.
This.
Now take your rubber band, and this is where your paper clip, because my fingers are too big to fit in here. Your fingers might fit, but if they don't, then the paper clip comes in handy. Okay? So take your paper clip, and you're going to want to stick it through this hole.
With the rubber band on it.
With the rubber band.
Like this. This and that is on.
Stick it through it.
And here, I think I put it through the hole.
Yes.
Now what do you do?
Do it like this.
Oh, like that?
Like
Now
that.
the whole paper. Which way do you do it? This way? This way?
Come see, Bella.
Maybe I might have to. It'll be an easier way if you just stick it through right here.
If you can get it through that you got the wrong piece, Brimley. You need the other piece.
There is my other piece. How do I make this?
Look, guys, you're just sticking your rubber band through the hole like this. You don't have to use the paper clip, but you can stick it through the paper clip is just if your fingers don't fit. All right, Miss Beth, what's next before our rubber bands are gone?
All right. Now, hold this. Take your big
Put the rubber
stick
band. Can you put it without the paper clip?
and you're going to run it through this little loop right there. Okay? Now you got to hold this down here. You got to hold your rubber band down here to make it stay. Okay? Now this is where the paper clip really comes in handy. Did she get hers? Bella, take your big stick and stick it through the little loop that's sticking out.
Yeah, just stick it through there. Look, like this. There you go.
Oh, you got it. You took it out.
Now put your big piece, your big stick, no, just the yellow stick, put it through the rubber band on the top. But keep holding the rubber band, yeah.
Alright. Now hold it here. Put your stick on your fingers. Alright. Whoop.
Hey Christian, can you get Kale's in the blue shirt?
Okay, Mama's gonna help you. Come see right here. Come stand right here, right quick. All right. When you have that part,
Mama has your stuff.
yep, you got it. All right, you're holding it. Now you're gonna get your bottom. Yes, ma'am. She needs some help. Come see.
You mean this one?
Yep, 1 second. Stick your big stick there.
Get your big stick. Samuel, over there, baby.
All right.
What about this little stick?
Yep.
That's what we do after this.
1 second. All right. Hold that. Now. More. Thank you. Okay, now you got to get this piece through this other piece. And because my fingers are too big to fit in here, this hole, I take my paper clip and stuck it in there, and then I ran it through and then put it together. You got it? See how I did it? Watch.
I can't find my paper.
Here. You can use mine.
We stick the little one in the other hole.
Take it like this. Yes. And then you stick the little one
On the top hole.
on this hole. Well, I did.
How do you do this?
They're going to show you how to use it. This is it. Here we go.
How do you do this? I have my paper clip. I have my paper clip.
My little piece is missing. Where's your bottom?
I actually found it on the back of something.
Where's your bottom?
What bottom?
Your bottom. Over
There's
here.
a little piece.
Bring me this too.
There you go. Look, use it.
Alright. After you get them done, then we'll have a race. Okay, hold on. 1 second, baby. I only got 2 little hands.
Get yours?
Alright, now you're gonna roll this. Yeah, hold that. Oh, yours is done. Hold this. Alright, if you're done, have a seat, and then I'm gonna show you and we're gonna race. Okay? Have a seat.
Every time I use a paper,
Does everybody anybody else need help? I'm getting his together. I think Christian's helping Bella. All right, have a seat. Okay, where you
Go
at?
sit, Kale.
How can you make a racetrack like
I'm gonna show you.
Run me over.
All right.
You need your big bag. You just keep your little bag.
Now, you just do this,
Now look, y'all go right a little bit.
and the more you turn it,
Keep this little wee
that
bag.
little rubber band in there winds up, and then you want to see what it's gonna do.
Hey, Beckett.
Are you ready for
No,
it?
you keep
Are you really, really ready? You ready? Ready? All right, here it goes. Watch. Watch. You ready?
Watch, she's going to show you how to race them.
Y'all ready?
You know how to do it?
And there it goes.
Play to the
go
fan.
with the fan?
See? There you go. And now, all right, if you're done, then let's pick up our bags, our little bags, and then we're all going to come over here to the line, and we're going to race them, okay?
I don't get it which way we turn it.
All right. All right, okay. All right, you're gonna come. It's gonna come this way. Are you ready? On your mark, get set, go. Gremlins win the
To go and do what? Yes, to pray for Saul. But remember, he was very, very scared. And sometimes, we talked about it, God asks us to do hard things. But who do we have to help us? What was our saying? You remember it? Jesus' power helps us do hard things. What did we say? Trust Jesus. Oh, you guys can do better than that. What did we say? Trust Jesus. Well, I told you that we were going to find out if Ananias had the courage to go and see Saul. And so we're going to read the very end of the story. And I'm going to show you a picture. So here's Ananias, if you wondered what we think he may have looked like. And who do you think this guy is right here? Saul. So Ananias wrote me a letter, and he told me all about going to see Saul. And this is what he said. This is Ananias talking. As frightened as I was, I knew I needed to trust Jesus no matter what. If Jesus asked me to give Saul his sight back, then I needed to do it, even if that meant Saul putting me in jail. So I went to the house of a man named Judas who lived on a straight street. Remember, that's in Ananias' vision. That's what God told him to do. That was his mission. When I saw Saul, he looked nothing like the raging bully I had imagined. He didn't have that big rock. He didn't have the chains. He didn't have that rolling pin. No. He didn't look like what I imagined. You know what he looked like? He looked like he was tired and he looked hungry. After all, Saul hadn't had anything to eat or drink for 3 days. Ooh, have you ever gone 3 days without eating or drinking something?
Nope.
You'd be very dehydrated.
Yes, you would.
Yeah.
So I gently put my hands on Saul's head and I said, Saul, my friend, Jesus sent me so you could see again and so you could be filled with the Holy Spirit. And just like that, something strange, like these scales, began to fall off of Saul's eyes. And he blinked in the bright light as those scales fell off of his eyes. And he said, "I can see," Saul shouted. And I could tell right away that he could see, not just with his eyes, but also with his heart. Saul wanted to be baptized and to have a snack, just like you guys. So 3 days is a long time to have an empty belly. Soon Saul became one of Jesus' most faithful followers, helping people everywhere see the light of Jesus in a whole new way. So guys, the prayer that we prayed over Ananias worked. Jesus was with him. So sometimes Jesus wants us to do things that are hard, like becoming friends with someone new or going to a new school. But if Jesus wants us to do something, you know what he'll do? He'll always give us the strength and the power to do that. Jesus will be with us all the way, just like he was with Ananias. I was scared and unsure, Ananias said, but I had Jesus' power with me the whole time. So guys, doing the right thing can sometimes seem hard. Maybe it's challenging to be patient with your younger brother or sister, or maybe your older brother or sister. Maybe it's hard for you to control yourself when it comes to watching too much TV or playing on your video games too much, or maybe even eating unhealthy food sometimes. But you know what? Jesus' power can give you the power to do those hard things. So if you trust Jesus and you ask him to help you, Jesus always will. All right, guys. So you know what to do when you have something hard to do. What are you going to do? What's going to be your strategy?
Trust in Jesus.
Trust in Jesus. And remember, when we can do what? Always. And prayer is so easy. It's not hard or complicated at all. You were right, Alfie. Alfie just said it's just talking to God. Just close your eyes and talk to God. And he hears every one of your prayers because he loves each and every